contributions from Salvador Dalí and Federico Fellini. Salvador Dalí was a Spanish, actually a Catalan painter, better to say Catalan because people who were born in Catalonia, they considered themselves, Catalonia is where Barcelona is, they considered themselves first Catalan and then eventually maybe Spanish, even because their dialect is another language and they have completely different traditions. Salvador Dalí, normally in his paintings, is very famous because of the leaning watches. In every Salvador Dalí paintings you will find the leaning watches, but also you will find his self-portrait. This is Salvador Dalí. And I like so much the quote by Salvador Dalí because it says in Italian, I veri intenditori non bevono vini, degustano segreti. That is wine. I want to make that my quote. Wine connoisseurs never drink wine, they taste secrets. And then we have Federico Fellini. Federico Fellini was our second Italian movie director who got the Oscar. The first one was Vittorio De Sica, and then Federico Fellini, and then Mediterraneo, I don't know, Tornatore, Salvatore, sì, no, Cinema Paradiso, e poi La Grande Bellezza, okay? La Grande Bellezza con Paolo Sorrentino. Actually, La Grande Bellezza that recently got the Oscar as the best movie from a foreign country was inspired by the Dolce Vita, of course, because the two of them are placed in Rome. And yes, I think that La Grande Bellezza is a kind of sequel of La Dolce Vita. Federico Fellini said, a good wine is like a good movie. It lasts for a short time, but leaves you in the palate a taste of glory. It is new in every sip. And as it happens with movies, it is born and reborn in every taster. And then let me go to this. Do you remember this? Okay. It was a few years ago, actually. I was still living my former life in Rome. And in my former life, I was not in the wine business. I was working in the Embassy of Ecuador, in a diplomatic service for the Ecuadorian government. Say, what is the relation between diplomatic service and wine? No relations. But just, it happened that I wanted to change my life, and so I decided to start from the very beginning and trying to listening to what my father used to tell me when I was a child, because my father was in the wine business. We had a vineyard, but I never took care of wine, and I didn't drink any wine. So I started with a normal signing to a course for sommelier, and I liked it. And during those years, I went to the movies and I watched the Sideways, and I was impressed by this dialogue. By this speech, let me open. Here we have the character Maya, that says something to me amazing about wine.
I like to think about what was going on near the grapes.
No, what happened? No, someone should help me. I don't know what.
Slide it back to the beginning.
Okay. What about the volume? Julian! Sorry, but I have the quote. I can read it. It's not the same, but Maya. I'm pretending to be Maya. I like to think about the life of wine. This is movie. I like to think about the life of wine, how it's a living thing. I like to think about what was going on the year the grapes were growing, how the sun was shining, if it rained. I like to think about all the people who tended and picked the grapes. And if it's an old wine, how many of them must be dead by now? I like how wine continues to evolve. Like if I opened a bottle of wine today, it would taste different than if I had opened it on another day. Because a bottle of wine is actually alive. And it's constantly evolving and gaining complexity. That is until it peaks, like your 61. He was referring to Cheval Blanc, a wine from France, 61 the vintage. And then it begins a steady, inevitable decline. And it tasting so beep good.